She had been lying to us. She lied.
I don't know. I think she might be, but
I don't think she's looking for a betrothed.
do you think that she's like a spy for Adar?
No, not necessarily. She could be. Maybe.
Let's buff up the security of these places, okay? You guys might have armies. I need a better TSA.
Who is this hobo though that she gets to be there for the shipping off of her dad? And did you ever know my father? Neither did I. This much I know. It wasn't you. Anything you were to me is ashes now.
Very good Taika Waititi impression.
That's actually probably my problem. I've been trying so hard to get New Zealand down that I can't do anything else.
That was a really good Korg. Did you know my father?
Fuck off, ghost.
Fuck off, ghost. Welcome back, everybody, to Podcast of the Rings, your go-to source for by-the-book recaps of every single episode of Rings of Power. Here we are in Season 2, and we are here. It feels like the finale, but it's just the finale of the 3-episode premiere, which we have been mixing and matching for our viewers' pleasure, and definitely not for their confusion this entire time. But now, it's impossible for us to mix and match. We can talk about any episode we want to.
We can talk about Tootsie Rolls if we want to. Everything is available to us.
Only the rectangular ones.
Show us your mug. What's up with that mug, though?
Oh.
Nice. If you follow us on Patreon, I'll show you guys the map of Middle-earth that Ben sent me for Christmas that is now adorned on my ceiling. Not my ceiling, my wall.
So look, we take this is where the happiest family lives, right there in Mordor. They just want peace. They just want to raise their kids in a nice little Mordor suburb.
I have mixed feelings. We'll get to that. I'm glad we finally got to see, for certain, a female orc. We did see a female orc in the speech that Sauron was giving, his misbegotten speech before he was brutally murdered over and over again.
I saw a tweet that was really good saying that Sauron wasn't really talking about the orcs, he was talking about himself. Like, the Valar will never accept you, men will never look at you at anything, elves hate you. It's just like he's literally just talking to himself right there. So I was like, oh, that's a good little catch right there.
Classic narcissist move, actually. Yeah, that's all I can think about is classic narcissism. And I don't know if you've seen, we're getting awesome comments from people that are helping fill out some of our questions we have, why is Galadriel getting to keep the ring? The best comparison someone shared with us is it's like Sauron's middle management that just got promoted to a big job. And now he's like, all right, guys, I'm in charge. And he's totally a loser at this. And everyone's like, fuck you, dude. We ate bread with you. We know you,
Yeah.
You shit just like us. I don't know if Sauron shits, but we're getting really lovely takes from people. We've cleared the hurdle of getting the hate takes. And we've gotten the nice people that are looking for people who just enjoy the show.
Honestly, I think we're going to talk about it this episode. I think the biggest hate take so far is the orc family, the nuclear family of orcs.
Is that right? You know what it is? I'm not combing Twitter for people's opinions, so I haven't seen it.
Again, I get the best of both worlds on mine.
You really do. You're just the perfect demographic for...
Yeah. Elon's like, no, dude, you'll get it one day. I promise. You're going to get it.
Bro. I did this for you, Ben.
Right? I bought Twitter for you.
You are his demo so hard that it actually hurts his feelings that you're not his demo.
Literally, there's this podcaster really where he's talking about, Trump, as soon as he gets elected, he needs to, take over the courts, and start prosecuting Democrats. And then, his co-host was like, yeah. And then, death penalty because treason. And, Kamala's, Twitter, just posted the clip. And they're like, hey, this is what they're talking about. And the guy quote tweeted, he's like, I'm going to sue you. It's like, you said it!
Wow. Yeah, repercussions.
For your own podcast clip? This is like...
She gave you the best advertising,
right?
bro. Kamala, retweet this. No, but it's been really nice to like get like people who just really want to like this, who can like suspend disbelief and just enjoy this. It's been really nice to get those comments. I actually went to bed last night going, oh yeah, we got to see like a smart orc and his baby and wife. What the fuck? It actually bothered me too. Here's why it bothers me. Because I have a hard, unless those female orcs are staying back behind, I have a hard time believing that orcs aren't going to eat the babies and that they all die in bed. Like, where are these babies while they're fighting? And like, I understand
they're at home collecting scrap metal. We can do it too, girls.
Well, no, I mean, if we go back to season 1, Adar refers to them as his sons and daughters.
Yes.
So he does say that there are female orcs there. I think it was kind of hard to tell.
Oh yeah, I'm not mad about the female orc. I'm not really mad about anything. I just I don't like.
I'm aware what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is like now they're kind of like putting their flag in the ground. Like, no, they mate, they have kids. Like they're not pulled from the ground like the Uruk-hai. You know, like they're not corrupted elves. They're like trying to say like this is a full-fledged species in that sense, which, you know, we very rarely have storytelling that doesn't just wholeheartedly demonize the orcs, you know. So, but it was just weird. This guy is really well spoken, which is awesome. But then he touches the head of his little orc baby. It's so weird.
That was weird. It was
just
like,
weird.
I don't know. I'm okay, like, with the orc family. I'm okay with that. But I'm also, you know, it reminds me of, like, when they made Maleficent. And then it was like, oh, her tragic backstory of why she became evil. It's like, okay, bad guys can just be bad guys. Like, it's okay for bad guys historically. And I know people have, like, brought up, like, old manuscripts or letters J.R. Tolkien has written saying that, like, oh, I never meant for orcs to be, like, unequivocally evil. And he's brought up the fact that there definitely are orc women. So this is based on Tolkien lore. So anyone that's saying that is just referencing the Peter Jackson movies, not Tolkien, which is hilarious. But I don't know. I don't think you kind of swayed me last season of like, oh, yes, the orcs need a place to live. Oh, they are a people. Oh, they are like kind of like this borderline enslaved race, only meant for war, only bred for war, and like they're just kind of tired of it. And the opening scene of this season was really good in showing that. They're like, man, we just got done fighting and we lost and we're gonna fight more? Oh my gosh, like this is the worst, like, arousing speech ever, so we're gonna murder you. I don't need this. I think this is distracting. I think it's a little bit of overkill. I'm fine with the guy saying, like, hey, like, if you're saying Sauron's dead, but we have to go stop Sauron, and we have to go fight in Region, like, that was a problem. This? That
was a problem I had too. Although, like, I could see when Adar said, no, he's dead, and then you could see the lingering shot and him going, uh-oh, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
he knows something.
But then he 180s totally, you know? We don't see him, like, have unequivocal information that Sauron is in fact back, or he just like tells them to not worry about it, and then now we're worried about it. So that was a hard contrast for sure. I was on the same page with that.
Yeah, I mean, I like we'll cover all the Mordor stuff. I feel like that's the best way to do these episodes, is just like story piece by story piece. But I mean, nothing much else happens in Mordor besides the orc family and a big ol' freaking troll showing up. Good God, that guy is going to... I'm assuming that's the guy from the trailer that Arondir is, like, 300 jumping at, like, with his daggers and stuff in the trailer while Eregion is on fire. I'm assuming that's him.
Sure.
But, like,
so this is what's going to happen to Arondir then. Hold that thought for a second. They're going to have him go up against the biggest orc who's trying to stab his eye out. Then they're going to have him go up against Dimrod. Then he's going to have to go against... Is it Dimrod or Danrod? Something.
I think it's Dimrod.
Dimrod's a very funny name. But then he's going to have to go up against an Oliphant. He's going to have to take a whole army on by himself. He's going to have to get gradually bigger enemies.
I mean, they're giving him the Legolas treatment. Like,
they really are. But
in Fellowship, like, he's just hitting, like, cool shots. In Helm's Deep, he's skateboarding down the stairs. And then in Return of the King, yeah, yeah, like he literally does like a little Sonic twirl out of the carriage. Like, I don't know why. I'm not. That complaining.
Was overkill too. It was insane. He's so sad. And he's like, "Ooh, kick leg."
Yeah, he's definitely. I
cut you off from your thought, though. I'm so sorry. You were talking about Dimrod and.
Oh no! It just him. Like I wanted, and I think it's just like. I love when, like, big evil characters, like, just grab somebody and just, like, kill them for no reason. So I kind of wanted him to just grab an orc and just, like, stuff him in his mouth or something like that.
Well, that's why he had the head, right?
Yeah.
Like, he 100% killed that guy for no reason. He killed the messenger. I had a feeling that I can't remember. I thought Dimrod was the one who maybe killed the Linden messenger that was heading to Eregion. I don't know why I thought that. Or maybe it was I don't remember, because it definitely wasn't Sauron, because we saw the bodies we saw the bodies being dragged off with chains.
Yeah,
the Barrow-wights take prisoners like that.
No, they're dead. They're just they're like hiding the bodies or whatever Barrow-wights do with bodies.
Okay, all right. We'll get to that eventually in the season. I'm not.
Yeah, you said put money on it, and then you didn't say how much money.
25 cents.
25 cents. Put it down.
Okay. If it's anything but the Barrow-wights, I win 25 cents.
Yes.
Okay, great. As long as we're on the same page. That's an agreement. I'm a man of my word. Yeah, I just want to get the Mordor stuff done. I'm totally with you that it's just weird. We just didn't need to see. I don't know how else you explain that the orcs are living, feeling beings that also deserve to live too.
I honestly think that just him talking with Adar gives me that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we've been fighting this whole time. Like, we followed you because you gave us, he says, we've got our home. We're protected. And Mordor is the most insulated land there is. Like, you look at the map. Like, it's surrounded on all sides by a mountain range.
Right.
And so it's y'all are good. You're cool. You're chilling in there now. If this is where you want to be, then this is where you want to be. Just relax. And so I think it is a little bit of kind of writers kind of writing themselves into a corner of ending season 1 with showing Sauron going back into Mordor and okay, we got to do something with that. And then having him getting captured, talking his way out of it. And now it's why are trust me, I'm for a battle, but why are the orcs going to Eregion? To make sure Sauron's dead? Have they gotten word that he's in Eregion?
So they did send somebody after Halbrand, quote unquote.
Gotcha.
Right? Didn't they said follow him. And so we're assuming they followed him deep enough in there and Halbrand never came out, didn't come back with information. So probably again, this is where the time construct of how long things take, how long did it take for Halbrand to get to Eregion, all that, it could be that they were waiting for a message and now, Adar's nope, we gotta go because something is going on over there for sure.
Yeah, they're fast traveling video game style a little bit from, Mordor to Eregion and Lindon to Eregion and stuff like that. So yeah. I'm totally with you there. But it just seems I don't know. I'm enjoying the writing, I'm enjoying the plot progression, but it seems okay, we got a battle in Eregion, and then they wrote backwards from that of how to get the orcs there and how to get Adar there. And so I'm just oh yeah, and then throw in an orc family. I think it was just the presentation of it, how he goes over to the
I'm actually totally with you. If we had seen it a little bit different, I don't want to be the podcast that's they should have done it this way. It just was odd that he's walking with Adar and they just so happen to stop exactly where his baby is. That bothers me.
Yeah.
I don't like the conceit of that. So show me a different way to see a baby.
I need like the full Armageddon shot where like the wife orc does the Liv Tyler and they sing "I'm leaving on a jet plane."
Fuck. For those of you that don't know and are just joining us, Ben and I did a Beyond Middle Earth series where we watched all the other movies that like you guys voted for the top, and we did Liv Tyler. We watched all the other movies from the actors from the Peter Jackson, and we did Liv Tyler's Armageddon, and have a pretty good video on that.
Rules, dude.
That movie really did. You coined
rips
the salute
so
'em and shoot 'ems.
Yes, absolutely.
She's just so good too.
So moving over, I want to save Numenor probably to the end because that's where like the episode ends. It kind of like bookends,
yeah.
Like the episode, like we start in Numenor and then we end. So let's say that for the end.
We can say though that this is the least strong of all 3 episodes, right? Is that like fair to say?
We could talk about Numenor now.
No, I'm just saying.
It's just like because I love the first part of it. I love where we start in Numenor, where we have
Farazan and
Muriel being the queen and using Elendil as her eyes, and then her kind of seeing like, oh, this guy Belzegar is like chatting up with Farazan, and I don't like him because he didn't like my dad, so he's only here for political reasons. Mm-hmm. And then seeing the woman like come up and slap Muriel, which is
Holy
we've been watching too much Game of Thrones because that woman would have had her head on a pike like that.
I think she was going to, and that was the whole point, was Muriel stopping them. Like, that woman should have died. Like, Muriel shouldn't have had a second to say, wait, like, that was a shocker.
Yeah, a Region Numenor. Let's buff up the security of these places, okay? You guys might have armies. I need a better, like, TSA.
Who is this hobo, though, that she gets to be there for the shipping off of her dad? And smacks her in the fucking face. What rank is she that she gets to be there?
This just in, Jessica's starting the class war in Numenor right now.
But seriously, what the fuck is she doing there? It makes no sense. And that's her reaction to just smack her. I couldn't believe it. I was like, why the fuck is this bitch here in the first place?
And also, Nerd of the Rings brought up, like, I was watching his recap. This was a volunteer force.
Yes.
Like, that's why I hated that in season 1. I'm like, you're Numenor. You're supposed to have an army. Like, this is the height of the kingdom of men.
But they do have an army. They just didn't want to force. They didn't force any of them.
That's
to go.
dumb.
But then
we're going to Middle Earth for the first time in a while to fight someone. Train soldiers? No. Not like, I don't even want to call them the ROTC, because like, at least they're getting like a class a week of training. Like, this is strictly this is militia. This is
wow, totally.
And the thing is, like, militia is very effective. Welcome to America, baby. But not when you're just charging on cavalry.
Wow.
So I like the moment in that Muriel, like, grieves with her because Muriel has lost her father. She's lost a son. I understand that. And then, the following scene, like, at the bar where, again, the son, if they pull an Alfred non-director's cut move here,
I don't know what you're talking about.
The son of Farazan.
What's Alfred?
From The Hobbit.
Oh.
How Alfred from like halfway through Desolation of Smaug is the worst. And then you keep having people like put their trust in him. Like, Alfred, like, go on the watch. Alfred, do this. Feed Bilbo. And then in the director's cut, Alfred just gets away. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the theatrical cut.
Right.
Theatrical cut, Alfred gets away. In the director's cut, he gets like fed to a troll or whatever. But I didn't see that in the theaters. And I was like, he just gets nothing, no comeuppance, not even a punch in the face. If that happens with Farazan's son, I will turn into a right-wing grifter and I will go full Dongs of Woker. I'm not
literally. Elon just tuned in to watch this video right now.
Elon, I'll buy a blue check mark, and this is all downhill if this dude does not get punched in the face at the very least. But I love the moment. What's what's his name? The guy that confronts him.
It's Valandiel.
Valandiel, great
the
moment
best friend
from him.
of Isildur.
Great moment where just puts the hand on the shoulder and is like, if you have anything else to say, we can step outside.
Oh,
because I was there.
It's so good. It's so good. And they're so dumb. And we said this last episode. They're so dumb for just talking out in the open. Like, Farazan has no business being there. He has private quarters. He can bring them to that. Like, they could be having fucking cold turkey there. It makes no sense. And Valando's right there. Granted, maybe there is a political scheme here where, like, Farazan's like, I am trying to muster support. And, I'm going to just say this right now. I'm really disappointed that Aarion didn't have a change of heart by looking into the Palantir. I'm really sad that it made her even more feverish about being anti-elf. I
don't know why they're portraying Numenor as, like, scared racists.
Well, I mean, think about it. I can understand because they're a little xenophobic because, first of all, they are this, like, greater race. They are, like, they're feeling really disenfranchised by the elves, and they're so sequestered.
Looks like Elon's turning in right now.
Ooh. At least we got one more view.
One of us. One of
Farazan.
Farazan. Oh, God.
I know. So, but I guess I can understand them being a little too insulated, a little too into themselves, and they're making a choice to make Numenor like that because they are, like, removed from the experience of what Middle Earthians are dealing with. So it's if you don't let's say it's so easy for us to have an opinion on what's going on in Africa, right? But also we don't think about it because we ain't over there. So they're just so far removed. We're not in the thick of it. And that is why it's really important for someone like Valandiel to step in and go, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And I will actually kick your ass. And
but that was the thing is that, like, I understand why, the three men at the table, like, are just kind of, like, scoff at it and stuff like that. But, like, he does say, we lost your brother over there. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And it like, I'm curious to see where this show goes with her. Because, like, I don't know. When did she break into the tower and get the Palantir? Like,
so
last season?
She got an opportunity to
I know she was at the king's deathbed. Yeah.
Right. And the king was confused and told her to go look at the Palantir, essentially, or go, he thought she was Muriel, but Muriel was in, and so the last we see of Aarion is her finding the door where the Palantir was, which it's locked, and then Muriel has to unlock it, so it must have been unlocked when Aarion was there.
Yeah,
whatever,
know, like, with the bracelet.
We'll just buy it, whatever. But it is it's a little odd. That's all.
And that's the thing is that, like, we've watched so much House of Dragon and Game of Thrones lately. And so I love a good political scheming. And, like, that's what we get. We get these, like, dark conversations and quiet whispers and stuff. And so I'm wondering what it's going to be. And then we get to the coronation. And I do love the scene with Farazan and Muriel of, like, oh, do you want to wear red or white? Red for the future, white for the past. And she's like, I'll wear white. And he's like, I think you should wear red. And I don't know. I think he's legit giving advice here. I think, like, he's like, we need to look to the future. I'm not, like, he wants the throne for sure. I'm not saying he doesn't. But I love that he shows up in red and she's in white.
I think he was trying to pull one on her, too. Like, again, let's not forget they're cousins, and he's, like, caressing her face with so I think he's, like, saying, this is the texture of white, this is the texture of red. But for a second, I thought he was trying to like go, oh, this is the white one, wink, wink, but then I think that's why he was surprised. 5? I just thought he was trying to do that, like play her a little bit. I think he was helping her, but also trying to play her.
I think he was trying to play her. I'm not sure in what way, but it just bugs me so much that, like, again, like, I understand the mom being at the funeral because I feel like it was a funeral for the king, but also for the fallen of the battle.
Okay.
But I don't understand how security didn't like pre-screen everybody for the coronation. What are we doing here? And someone just yells, "Queen of Lies." What? What'd she lie about? She said we're gonna go over to help our kinsmen in Middle Earth. Who wants to volunteer? Me?
How do they have so little reverence for this person too? That's what is actually shocking to me, is she's done very little. I don't know. I guess it just can't. It feels really manufactured, Ben. I think that's what we're dealing with. We
needed more of season 1 where it's like, not the elves are going to take our jobs, but like Farazan planting the seeds. Like, I don't know. I think they tried in season 1. It just didn't land. And so when it comes to this, where it's like, oh, like, they're laying the seeds here. Oh, no, never mind. They're just chanting Farazan's name as an eagle lands, and that's it. I was like, wait. Like, I don't know. Again, this feels very on the cutting room floor. Something is missing here, where, like, either this might have been where the showrunner wasn't allowed to be there, or, like, they lost the showrunner, or something like that. Because it feels so truncated to go from, oh, does he have his ear, or is it the other way around? It doesn't fucking matter if all you need to do is chant his name when an eagle lands.
That's 100% correct. Although, let's just be fair too. In the moment Aarion decides to walk in with the Palantir and it hits the ground, that is like the turning point here. So,
and that I do like that because Farazan plays it so perfectly. Because he's like,
so
oh no,
perfectly.
Our queen would never use this, and she's like, and Muriel just like can't help herself. No, don't. No, we need it! I'm like, okay, dude, like, play the fucking, like, okay, Ned Stark, play the fucking game for once.
She couldn't, yeah, you're totally right,
But if it would have ended there, then that's like a big, like, oh my gosh, our queen uses elf, dark magic, whatever you want to say, that's great. End it there, have the coronation, but Farazan still got his foot in the door now. But instead, you have the Eagle Land, Farazan, and okay, cool. Okay, so nothing that happened before mattered.
It actually is wild that these people believed that the eagle was there because of Farazan. That's
she had wild. her hands like on the staff like this on the scepter, and like he's here for Farazan, bitch.
It's so.
Can we get
insane? You know what it is?
Can we get a VAR here? Can we get an instant replay?
Fake news. Because we said off camera, it's a really good allegory, which we know Tolkien hates allegories, and it's not necessarily one-to-one, but these people want to believe what they want to believe.
Yeah.
But the fuck is Eagle's there because she was supposed to be coordinated, god damn it! And it didn't bless Farazan, and the second Farazan turned around, the eagle took off. The eagle's like, this is not you, bitch, I don't want you.
I know, but it's like, it's frustrating, but like, and I don't want to keep comparing this to Game of Thrones because it's its own show, but it's like, if you're gonna do the political intrigue stuff in a fantasy setting, it's borderline impossible to not to. There are so many moments where you get like out loud yelling at your TV like you're watching a football game in Game of Thrones of like, no, this is not what's going on. This is lies, slander, like all these things. And I wanted that, and I thought we were getting that with that first scene, and then Valandia, like, shuts it down, and you're like, yeah, punch that little neck motherfucker in the face. But then it just ends in a chant, and that's that. Like, I don't know, we'll see next episode.
We have if 5 seasons. We really do. Like, Farazan does become king in the books canonically, like, but we do have 5 episodes to see. Does Valandia have her back, or does Farazan try to marry Muriel and, make everything right? Because they do get married in the books. But Farazan's a fucking skeeve.
He's a skeeve, but I just want more from Numenor. Like, I want them to be better. And, like, you can have, like, the fear-mongering and stuff like that. Like, people are still going to be people no matter where and when they are. But you need to have them fall from grace. That's the whole thing about Numenor, is that it fell from the light of the Valar, and it never looked good. I think
that's a really good point.
I was never like, whoa, this is Numenor? This is the line of Aragorn? Like, where everybody that met Aragorn, oh, you have Numenorean blood? You're 87? How? That never happened in this show, and that's I think probably my biggest complaint about it is Numenor and how mid, as the kids say, it looked.
You know, this is really making me go back to my earlier criticism of, like, by centering the story around Galadriel up front, you've really told us that Galadriel has to be the one to kill Sauron. The way that Galadriel perceives everything is the truth. And now that we know that Sauron has been manipulating her, she's an unreliable narrator as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But it would have been really nice if we could have gotten a Lord of the Rings intro where Numenor, once great, now fallen in the eyes of the Valar or whatever. Like, give us like a little bit of lead up into what we need to know right now, as opposed to now Galadriel has found herself shipwrecked into Numenor and we're supposed to just know these people are bastards now. I think we could have had a little bit more prologue that would have helped this a little bit. You bring up a really good point. Chanting Pharazôn at the end is really fucking dumb. The eagle, them taking the eagle as an omen for Pharazôn's really dumb. I'm curious to see where Valandil goes, because that just brief moment with him was fire. And
he ruled in that scene. Like, probably my favorite, like, just moment from these first 3 episodes was just like, it felt like Bane in Dark Knight Rises, where like Ben Mendelsohn's like, you don't do what he says, I'm in charge, and Bane just like puts his hand like backwards on his shoulder and is like, do you feel in charge? And it's just like, ah! And it felt like that, where he's just like, well, if you have anything else to say, we can step outside.
I genuinely loved that he was looking down for people that were upset with him in that moment and still handled business. It was really, really well written, and the tension was just right. And that guy's a little bitch, baby.
Little bitch, baby.
We got some dwarf. I think I want to save the Pilar gear for the last, because we got some dwarf stuff.
The Isildur stuff for last?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
We got the dwarves going to Eregion and being treated with by now Annatar. Annatar. And just an in love and on cloud 9.
Bro, he's literally skipping to school every day.
He understands what the songs are about now. He's so happy.
Like that scene from 500 Days of Summer where like he's dancing to Your Dreams, like the Hall & Oates song, and he sees like Harrison Ford in his reflection. Like, that's Celebrimbor on his way to work every day.
That is so fantastic. Yeah, that's it. That is it exactly. I think it was last episode, and we forgot to mention that Celebrimbor is like so on cloud 9 that he creates moon letters. Like he's just like this is before he lets Sauron in, but he's like, look at this fucking cool thing I just invented.
Right? He, like, Annatar is his muse, dude.
Yeah. So he's just like basking in the greatness. And I do love that Durin is like, the fuck is this guy? Like,
yeah, I do love that, where like it is a good moment, because like we know what happens, we know where we're supposed to get, but I do love that, like, you know, you can't play everybody the same. Where he's like, oh, Elrond thought you were the wisest, and he's like, Elrond wouldn't fucking say that about me. What are you talking about?
Totally, and that's what like I don't know if we talked about it too much last episode, but Tisa and Durin are such a lovely couple. They are so good. On fire. And they were locked in from season 1, right?
Yep.
And the problem is Durin's so right, but because they're going through so many things, including the rift with Durin the Elder, you know, the king.
They're both called Durin.
Well, is canonical, and they aren't supposed to be alive at the same time. Durin the Third is supposed to be an incarnation of each Durin. I'm with you. It also is very kingly to name your son Durin.
That's true.
It is. Like,
what was it? It was like
it's just hard for us.
LeBron James named his first son LeBron James Jr., but he goes by Bronny. And it was so funny where it's like, well, I'm not going to wear the same number as my dad. He's like, now coming in, number 3, LeBron James Jr. Oh, who's that?
Oh no. Oh no. Isn't that crazy? He's been playing in basketball that long that his son that's wild.
On the same team. It's insane.
He's on the same team? I didn't even know
that. Yeah, he got drafted by the Lakers.
Is he good?
I don't want to call him a Nepo baby because he might end up being good enough, but he definitely got drafted because of LeBron.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But you know what? There are plenty of other bad NBA players in there, so
sure.
I'm okay with it.
Sure. Give them their just desserts.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to go there. I think you're totally right, but if Sauron can read the hearts and minds, take an extra second, bro, and read into Durin's mind. You know what I mean? Like, what is?
But he hasn't earned his trust, and that's the thing. Is that like I do like that moment where it's like once Sauron like has your trust, then he can do it. And so maybe Sauron's like still like, oh, maybe I just turned into Anatar,
a little too
like
soon.
a little too rusty at the whole manipulation thing. Like Celebrimbor wrapped around the pinky, like just game over, man. Like
if we don't get a kiss scene, Ben, I'm just saying
no,
this.
You don't break that tension.
I'm saying if we don't, which will be okay if it doesn't happen, I am going to be writing a lot of fanfic, and I will share my screen name, guys. I'm just going to
save for Patreon.
I'm saying it's going to happen. I might ask AI to help me do it, but I need to.
So you won't be writing it.
No, but I'll be like, put them in this scenario for stage 1.
And they were boys and then they kissed.
I didn't know slash fiction existed until the scene where Loki turns into Thor, and like when they're talking and walking and like
yes.
And he turns into Jane or something, and I was like, holy shit, I ship Thor and Loki. So I'm a Thorky, and anyway, slash fiction's a real thing. A lot of us females feel this way about boys. We want them to kiss, and it's really hot. We really do. It's a thing. But the thing about like Durin going, this guy, Elrond would never say that about me. Disa trusts her husband, but then because he's got the issue with his dad, they jump and they sideline that part of the conversation. And she goes, no, this is because you just don't want to help your dad. And like this episode,
it's really well written.
It is really well written, because if that wasn't going on, Disa might go, yeah, that was fucking weird, you know?
Yeah.
But this episode was really good because for me, in one way, and this is what Durin really offered, was you told me, Dad, that maybe though it's not ours to say whether they should live or die. That's not for us to say. And maybe we are making the wrong choice. And genuinely, that is what's making me think that Elrond's right too. Like, I know that if we believe this as our lore, which is what Tolkien wanted to do, is like, this was our history. This was England's history or whatever. What if the world just ended here? Because we shouldn't have gotten involved and made things more messy. They're just asking a really interesting existential question. And I like that they're making me think about the whole impact of everybody's choices here. I'm really enjoying that.
I like that too. I like this conversation because it does bring up like just like the multiple conflicts. I wish I would have gotten a little bit more about them losing sunlight and how absolutely catastrophic that would be to their economy.
Sure.
Like they're all.
You didn't get that?
I mean, they're all lined up, and what's the new dwarf's name? Narvi. Like, I wonder what purpose he's gonna serve. Like, is he a king sycophant? Is he gonna be on the side of good? I'm not sure yet.
I don't know that he has any. I don't see any ulterior motives in him yet. They're not planting any seeds. So I don't know that. I think he's just there to move the story along.
It's very possible.
That's all I got from the guy.
I thought I was getting enough because, like, all the merchants are lined up, and he's like, all right. I love how all the merchants are lined up, like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to the king. Meanwhile, the king's 10 feet away with an open door.
And then Durin walks in, and all these guys are like, you said we could talk to it.
Yeah. Nepo babies, man, I swear. Totally. And so it's like, I was ready for that whole thing, and then it was just kind of gone. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was going to get more of like, because frustration. We see a little bit of it, and I can surmise the desperation there, but it's like, we saw it with the elves, where it's like, oh, the tree is like, gone. Right. Gil-galad is singing Fond Farewell, like, at closing time, and you got to close out your tabs. Like, but here it's just like, oh, my crops aren't as good, and we should open the crops outside. Can we go get
nothing's
those?
Growing, to be fair. And Disa killed the rest of the sunlight in the previous episode. And by saying we need the ancient grains open, or the grain storage open, and that there's only 3 months. By the way, you guys are storing 3 months worth of food. What the fuck? Like, it's like Californians that don't plan for the earthquake that's inevitable.
Oh my God. I saw a tweet, and I think I made like a TikTok about it that I might post today, where it's just like, Americans eat like they've got free healthcare. And I'm just like, oh, that, like, you guys, if you've been following this podcast for anything more than, a month, when it comes, like, America has so many problems. When it comes to other people talking about America, I get extremely patriotic. The Olympics just ended, and I I had like a flag tattooed on my chest. What was it? Someone posted like the scene from Spider-Man 3 of him tearing off the Venom suit. It was like, the patriotism leaving my body now that the Olympics are over. It's like, that's so perfect. But it's like that one hurt so much, and it kind of is perfect to where, and again, this is where, the same with Numenor, we have been told how amazing Khazad-dûm was. How, like, this is the capital city of the Dwarven Kingdom, and that it was mining mithril, the most precious gemstone of all time. We didn't really get the mining for mithril. Even in this episode, they somehow come up with another little, like, cube of it, and they're like, oh, here, take that. It's like, I want to see you mining mithril. I want to see the splendor of this kingdom. And so when it falls, it feels like you get hit with it. And I love the way it looked in season 1, all the waterfalls and Disa's tree in their yard and stuff like that. That looked great. But I don't know, I just didn't get, this is supposed to be peacetime, prime time, like, make Middle-earth great again type stuff over here. Where it's just like, this is where everybody looks back and says, you know what? We used to be a country. Like, make Middle-earth. Oh, make Middle-earth great again. So Mamega. It's too close. But I don't know. For me, it's probably like the biggest criticism is just like, you see it with the elves. They're just drinking. They're like in total denial that anything bad could ever happen. And so that works. And so, the dwarves not having that much like in stock kind of makes sense to me, because like they probably never thought it was going to end.
Sure.
But I just never saw the splendor of these kingdoms. So when they fall, it's like, yeah, I'm attached to the characters more than the kingdoms, but also like, Olympus has fallen. When the White House goes down, I'm like, oh man, this is so crazy that the most secure location could ever fall. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the whole point of it, is that you never, this place that you never thought could be overtaken is overtaken. And I don't get that feeling in either Khazad-dûm or Numenor.
I wonder, and I totally like hear you, and I think I can understand where you're coming from. I wonder if, here I'll say this first. When we got the sweeping shot from the carvings of Khazad-dûm outside of the mountain, pushed in, got to see their elaborate lighting system, I was like, where the fuck was this in season 1? But like, you can tell that they like upped the budget, and they're like, you know what, we really got to make sure everyone, like, because we made fun of this when we did our rewatch. Like they're just on the volume, walking up to this little stone door, and like I want to, it's kind of weird. They could have given us some more grandeur and given us like a hint of what Khazad-dûm is capable of, so that when we ask them to build a Region, we understand they can do it in 2 months or whatever.
Exactly.
But I wonder if so I'm glad we got a little bit of that, but then right away the rock falls, right?
Yeah. We see the grandeur like 10 seconds before the earthquake hits.
But I wonder if we're suffering a little bit from the fact that we're not watching this in a 4-hour movie. Is it possible that just because you didn't live in this beautiful, peaceful, harmonious tree growing in the warmth of the thing, is that why you're kind of going, wait, I actually don't know if Khazad-dûm is all that grand? But you actually bring up a really good, I'm just putting that out there. But you bring up a really good point. During the second, it was basically like, we're not getting the mithril, and I'm going to take your little thing from you, son, and I don't know you, and you invoked your mother. And now he's like, but here's some mithril. Actually, we do need this. But I basically think that they're just looking at omens on all fronts. Dad, we should be mining mithril, and this guy wants to help us, but actually, I'm going to tell you about this, but I don't think we should do it, Dad. Durin the third should be the one that's tempted, because he's like, yeah, this guy wants to use mithril. And Durin the second should be like, you know what? I told you no mithril.
That's the thing, is that either last season you need to establish like the weakness of the older Durin, or you need to establish like the susceptibility of the younger one, and now they've like flip-flopped in half an episode.
Yeah, this thing that completely created a gigantic rift between them now is completely settled.
Suddenly Durin the Elder trusts Celebrimbor, trust this stranger that says rings will save your kingdom, like
when they wouldn't accept 500 years of fucking silver-plated food.
Yeah, like to save like elves that they actually do know, that they have treated with. And so it like, because one mine shaft collapsed.
That's a tough, you're asking me to suspend a little bit too much disbelief here.
Yeah.
But maybe it is that they're just so clouded by the fact that they weren't talking for so long, and now this is an opportunity for them to.
But yeah, it goes back to how much time has passed. That is a big thing of this show, is that we're gonna have to accept that the entirety of the Second Age is going to go into 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And we're going to end with the Battle of the Last Alliance, and we're going to have to accept that. And I have. But you need to show me how much time has passed, like, traveling between 2 places.
Yeah.
How long had, just a line from Disa, like, it's been months since you've talked to your father. Maybe that was in there, and I missed it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you need to show me why Durin the Elder has done a complete 180 like that. Because even them showing up, I didn't realize there was a post-credit scene in the second episode, or a mid-credit scene. So like when the dwarves show up in a Region, I was like, oh, okay, I guess they got invited.
You didn't watch that little blip thing?
The credits rolled and I went to bed. They've never done anything like that before.
The credit roll, it just faded, didn't it?
I'm pretty sure the credits rolled.
Maybe.
I could have sworn. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just turned it off too soon, but I'd be very surprised.
You turned it off real quick, I think. I really do.
But just when they showed up to a Region, I was like, oh, okay, they're there. I'm okay with that. Skip the invite, that we all knew that was going to happen. But yeah, there are some things where I'm just like, okay, come on. I need to know how much time has passed between these events. What's going on here. I don't know, just certain things to where they're doing a great job. I'm absolutely loving this season. But this episode for sure, with the Numenor stuff, and then with the 180 from Durin the Elder, just felt so truncated. I don't know if again, we are still suffering from the strike and from COVID, so it could have been affected by that, but it really felt like it.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. And again, I think it's fair to say that I think harder about this when you and I have deep conversations about it. When I'm watching it, I'm like, sure, I got this. But then I become a little bit more critical once we're in the flow of talking about things. So now we're jumping over to Pelargir, which Alex was a little confused because he didn't realize it was abandoned. I don't think Pelargir is supposed to be abandoned, but basically, does the episode open up again with another horror scene? Another horror scene. With the fucking spiders, bro.
Okay, so I'm looking real quick, and the episode ends with Elrond being put in charge of the team. Episode 2. There's no
right. Oh,
maybe like when Anatar, like he becomes Anatar, like basically seals the deal there. And then it goes to Elrond and Gil-galad being like, "Oh, Galadriel, you're gonna be accompanied," and it's Elrond's SEAL Team 6. Like,
and then you scroll a little bit past the fade.
Scrolling past the fade. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
It's there was like multiple endings. That's what I was talking about. There was multiple endings.
I guess I just missed it. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You just were like, "Fuck this, I'm done."
I was so mad for Galadriel.
So Beric is a dog, basically. Can smell out Isildur is finding.
Beric's got that dog in him, dude.
He's your dog. He's
DAWG, dog.
I kind of buy that he like outwitted the orcs. I was really nervous for him in that
very
moment.
Brago-esque. This is reminiscent of Brago, but yeah, it is crazy because like he goes here, kills like 2 orcs, like bodies them actually. Great, like best kill of the season so far, or getting kicked into a tree and then speared by it. You
could be right. I'll live on that tree.
And then like he drags one and then purposely moves over so he gets like hit by a tree stump. Amazing stuff.
So good.
But it does do a good job of like, one, like it's easy for us like to care about animals, obviously, but like when it walks into the spider cave, oh my gosh. Just horrible. I hate spiders so fucking much. I don't, on record, if I find a spider, you're not getting let outside. You're getting gone. It's over.
Okay. So I have a little nest of baby spiders in this particular room that I let live. I don't go for them.
You ain't never having me as a house guest.
Because they get rid of all the other little buggies.
Yeah, do it.
If it's on
without
like
me seeing you.
Okay, got it. For sure. I feel you. No, me and these little baby spiders, they've been living here and we have an understanding. I respect your fear. I had more of a fear after Arachnophobia came out.
A+ movie.
I couldn't watch it. I don't want to watch it. All I can think about every time I put my shoes on is there a fucking spider in there? Every time.
Honestly, if you don't wear a pair of shoes for a while, shake them out. That's where brown recluses live, and they have a very nasty bite.
Yep, I do that because I was the right age for that to freak me the fuck out. But when when Beric walks in there, I'm like, baby, what the hell are you doing?
What the hell are you doing?
I know, I was so upset. But then I guess Isildur's just hanging out there. Like, do we believe that Beric woke Isildur up and he wasn't awake and conscious until this moment?
See, that's what I'm wondering. Is that like, how did Isildur get there? Like, what?
The spider had to have dragged him there.
Spider had to have dragged him there, but it's like, he must have been there for, like, did he just get there? And I do love the line.
Beric was released a couple days after, right?
Yeah. But like, I do love the line. It's like, oh, that's the Dark Forest. Nothing survives there. It's like, didn't the Dark Forest like just get like made?
Yeah. Totally. I thought the same exact thing.
It's like a new landmark here.
It's a new Dark Forest. Yeah, but there's already lore.
Right. I wish someone would be like, calm down, Jeff. Shut the fuck up.
That's exactly. He's like, stop trying to make the Dark Forest happen.
Right? I love it. It's a stupid little thing, but it's so funny.
My vibe on that too, but
it never comes out there. It's just like, that's the new Shake Shack. Nothing ever comes out of there. It's like, it just got made.
It just opened today, bro.
Right?
Like, Jesus, but my stomach already hurts.
That's the passage of time stuff where I'm talking about. Like, it's like, even though we know that obviously season 1 was 2 years ago. It's like Mordor just got formed. Like, how are there already like legends of things going on?
It's so great. It's so excellent. It's so dumb.
But they honestly do such a good job of making us forget because this spider cave is so terrifying. Like, I saw this. You are supposed to see the spider creeping up behind Isildur, and I still fucking jumped. Like,
Did you really?
I did. Like, the cut that they do before the jump where you see it like creeping and then it cuts to like the profile and then it gets him, it made me jump. Like,
so good.
Terrible. Just the worst.
The fight that he does and the way, like I love a good, like we talked, I love a good fight sequence. I love when they do something cool. I like when they invented like the flip where the motorcycle goes underneath the light and then it flips and now the motorcycle's upside down because you're watching it go down the street the other direction. I love fucking clever shit like that. It is 10 out of 10 clever to make him throw the spider and the spider be able to catch his head and whip back.
Terrifying, dude.
It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it was brilliant. Someone needs to get a raise. They just got graduated from like apprentice to fucking owning their own digital company.
Truly, like, you're so right, because I know exactly the moment you're talking about, because you see it coming, like, he's reaching behind you, like, yeah, throw it over your shoulders, and then he does that, and then it just grabs his face, and whoop,
and right back. Horrible and amazing. So that's whoever did that really deserves a raise. Congratulations. I hope you find this video.
Yeah, that was like straight out of like a martial arts like counter move where like you're like, oh yeah, if he sweeps the leg or something and then you sweep the leg and then you get punched in the face. It's
brilliant. Brilliant. Best thing I've ever seen on TV. It was brilliant.
Terrifying. Truly awful. Hated it.
But nothing is worse. Nothing is worse than the babies. You can't tell me Beric didn't die there. You guys, first of all, when babies are like scorpion babies and spider babies.
Yeah, they have more powerful poison.
I know. And they have less control. Because it's not actually more powerful poison. It's that they have less control over how much poison they put in. And so they're like, and so Beric should be dead. I don't know.
Well, it's like, do you think like the poison is even lethal? Like Shelob's poison? Like,
why isn't Beric passed out? Like, I'm just saying
he doesn't get bit.
How could 700 spiders dropping on Beric not bite them?
Doesn't happen.
I'm just saying it's weird. It's like, what are you asking me to buy here? Just that he's covered in spiders?
They put in like one too many spiders. It looks like it's like have the medium sized spiders all attacking him. That really works because we can see the fangs and stuff like that,
right?
And then obviously we can see like Beric like stomp them out. But like having the zoomy time.
Oh, zoomy cat time.
She like got up off the bed like gotta go. But having like the little baby spiders that you can't keep track of. And it's like, oof. Like they definitely work for the creep factor, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I didn't have a problem with it because I think the scene, like, it reminded me of The Mist.
Sure.
The pharmacy scene in The Mist where it's just like the absolute worst.
I don't remember that scene.
Highly recommend.
No, I watched it and I was sad. Thomas Jane, the ending's very sad. And but it was horrible. It was a hard watch for me.
Definitely a hard watch. But yeah, they get out of the cave. He travels, sees quote unquote the dead marshes, but not really, but definitely like kind of like an homage to it, and gets a fresh pair of boots from a Numenorean soldier.
Love that. No matter what, wherever you find boots, they fit you. It's very D&D. I love that. Yeah,
except for Die Hard,
which is why Die Hard's so good.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and also, like, the one thing I always, how uncomfortable it would be to walk in, like, shoes that aren't yours, that are soaking wet? That'd be the worst. You get so many blisters.
Well, he's not walking in them. He's on Beric.
That's true.
So I bought that it was, like, drying off while he was riding. But then he comes upon a camp. The girl stabs him. What a meet cute.
And, okay, again, this is, like, not, I don't want to be that nitpick, but, like, she stabs him in, like, the femoral artery. Like,
well, first of all, she doesn't know to not take it out, but she knows to tie it off.
Just stab, because I don't know. I guess, like, probably just, like, too many action movies and too many things that I've seen, and I'm sure a lot of people are also like, getting stabbed in the thigh is, like, a really dangerous, that's, like, the biggest artery in your body.
It's
like,
the back of the leg, though, is that is that artery. So,
it's
like,
a knife. It went through his leg.
It was a dagger. It's about that big.
How big is your thigh?
My thigh's pretty damn big, bro.
But like, okay, it's a dagger. Like,
it could.
Boom. That's
okay,
your whole thigh.
Maybe it did cut that. Maybe it did. I mean, obviously, it didn't hit his femoral artery though, because
I know. I'm just saying, like, stab him in a different place. Like, I'm more like, if she would have stabbed him like right on the side or something, somehow that's a more survivable, quote unquote, movie wound.
Sure.
Yeah.
Totally. Like, he shouldn't be alive. I totally get it. I think we all buy that she's fine. She's a nice lady, you know?
It's a good meet cute, like, where she's like, well, I've never stabbed anybody. He's like, yeah, I've never been stabbed.
That actually is pretty darn cute.
It's very cute. I'm totally on board, and I ship them automatically. Like,
do you? Yeah, okay.
I do, especially, like, they cement it with the conversation they have later, but I'm also, like, I'm on board with their chemistry from moment one.
Totally. There is chemistry, 100%. Yeah. Then they get to the camp of the most obvious setup in the world as they're heading to Pelargir. The most obvious bad guy. The most obvious, like, caravan. Like, he's got no teeth. He's gonna... Anyway, I guess Isildur is just a little dum-dum.
Jess and her class war continues. Who are these hobos at the side of the road?
I'm just saying, the bitch should have been there. She opened, palmed, slapped Muriel with a seashell in her hand. Come on.
But it's also like a frustrating moment because, like, I love the fight that, like, Isildur, like, has here. But, like, you have him recognize a moment before it happens. He sees the mark, Adar's mark, but then he doesn't do anything. He still gets got. And I'm just like, oh, well, like, just have him get got. That's totally fine. He gets ambushed, but don't have him, I don't know. Again, I don't want to be like a rewriter here, like this whole podcast, but just like, it felt like in the same way of last episode where it's like, oh, you could have had a bar fight with the dwarves. This felt like you could have had an Isildur growth moment with his IQ of like, oh, bad guy. And then, like, he can still lose the fight because there's like 4 people and you have Arondir come in and, you know, quadruple backflip, ice skate twist and save everybody. But, like, have him recognize what's going on before it happens and do something about it.
I'm a little okay with it now that I'm thinking about it, because you're totally right in that moment. I was like, what the hell's Isildur? But again, he did say, I've never been stabbed before. You've said this before. Numenor doesn't have an army. These guys aren't trained. Yeah. And the Isildur we know from the books and from the movie is nowhere near the guy, this guy here. He needs to train. He needs to learn how to fight. He needs to learn how to square off with Sauron. So we're watching little baby Isildur figure out that, like, you're not going to just survive. Your mom's not here to save you from the ocean, bro. You know, like, so I think we're just dealing with inexperienced Isildur.
For sure. I'm with that. We get to Arondir comes in, does his hurly-twirlies, and saves them.
So sad.
He's like, he's a
so
broken
sad.
Man.
I can't believe how unceremoniously she just died. Like,
it's the worst part of this show.
Yeah. I mean, like, I respect her choice to not come back.
Yeah. No.
I don't know if I respect their choice to not recast her.
That's what I don't get.
You know,
you recast Adar, recast Bronwyn. I think the show, like, I don't know what they're gonna do with Theo, so I will wait on that. But having them kind of like restart their arc, like that moment in season 1 when they do like the family hug, that shit worked. That worked. Like, he finally accepted him. Like, even it doesn't have to be like as a father, but like, you know, like, he accepted him as like a guardian, a protector, a friend, someone like that.
Who was there for him. And, like, had his back.
And then, like, her being completely fine and then being like, oh, well, she eventually succumbed to the arrow. Oh my God, dude. Come on now.
Like,
come on now.
He's an elf. He could have done some chewy, you know, a la floss thing.
She's literally a healer. Like,
It's the biggest leap that they're asking me to accept. Which, by the way, we just can't deal. We just have to deal with it. It's
and I think that's why we're getting the Isildur. What's her name?
Love story. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And she says, "I'm looking for my betrothed." Obviously, this bitch is lying. She had been lying to us. She lied. I
don't know. I think she might be, but
I don't think she's looking for a betrothed.
Do you think that she's like a spy for Adar?
No, not necessarily. She could be. Maybe.
No, I don't think so. She could be. Maybe.
Yes.
The 5 stages of grief just happened on screen, everybody.
Goodbye, Bronwyn. No, she's just like not...
Estrid.
Cool, a weird name. I just think she's not telling us everything.
I like the moment where, they talk about like their past sins and what happened with Isildur's mom, how she saved him and sacrificed her life, and no one really knows that story. I don't even know if Elendil, do you think Elendil knows it?
I doubt it.
I don't think he does. And I like that. And then as she, like, you wonder why she's like heating up a dagger, and then we see why. It's because she's got the brand on the back of her neck and goes to like burn it off, basically. Old like tattoo removal.
Like someone's not gonna see that. Like, hey, your freaking neck's blistering. You good? Like, what's? Hey, like,
yeah, it's just my curling iron.
Those suck.
I cannot believe. Not a day goes by that I am not glad that I am a man simply for cosmetic reasons.
Like I burned off my fucking fingerprints several times. Like,
yeah,
awful,
crazy.
I have such a high pain tolerance. But it all works, and I do ship them. And Theo crying in the background, like having some catharsis while they're talking it works too.
Like, that's the thing is that they do their best with these scenes that they can, where like Theo just unceremoniously comes up and like lights his mom on fire, just like, we're done.
Yeah.
And then the next scene where they're talking and he's like, the quote we opened the show with of just like, I didn't know my father, but I know he's not you. Like, any connection we had just got burned to ashes. We're done.
Yeah.
That's a tough scene. And like, it's very well written dialogue. I just don't like that we're restarting that arc. I don't know if they're going to get back together, or, come together again. But I liked where we ended season 1 with that trio. And now that trio is completely disbanded.
And also, like, R.I.P. to Bear McCreary's beautiful score, the Bronwyn and Arondir score, and they played it one last swelling time. I doubt he'll reuse that, but it really was a beautiful score.
It was,
and I was sad that I don't know, they may reuse it for Estrid and Isildur. I don't know, but I
don't think they should.
No, because it works for the Bronwyn stuff, and. I don't know. We just needed them, and I was, it's just tough. I don't know that, did you watch Arrested Development?
No.
There's an actress who plays the love interest for Jason Bateman in the first season, and then she gets recast, and it doesn't work because the chemistry isn't there. And so they end up getting rid of the whole love line in particular. Not that I think he's ever would have been allowed to have a successful relationship, because that's basically the whole conceit of the story. But like, they recast her for whatever reason. I'm sure the actress just left or whatever. And there wasn't chemistry. So I'm sure that was the risk of recasting Bronwyn too. But definitely Theo is on like a teen warpath where he's like, you know what, I don't care about my life, I don't care about anything, and I'm gonna go talk to these wild men and risk it all.
What was the plan here? That's the thing. So
there wasn't.
We fast forward and where he's like, oh, Isildur, do you want to get your horse back? Like, meet me here at midnight or whatever. And that's when Isildur and Estrid have their heart to heart, and then they leave, and Isildur's got the horse. He's good.
Yeah.
And I do love the kind of like, quote unquote, ticking clock of the man chopping wood. I'm like, what's going to happen with him? Because you keep hearing him. They keep cutting to him. Like, he's going to stop and appear behind Isildur or something. Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, like I didn't know what was going to happen. And I just love that. What happens with that? Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second.
No, it's okay.
Just like, go ahead.
No, so I want to go back for a second where the bad guys steal Barrick, and
yes,
Isildur's like, Arondir's like, do you? I'm not going to help you, whatever. And fucking Isildur lets Barrick go. Like, we don't see him like go after that. It's just like he just is like completely like, oh, forget it. I'll just go to this funeral instead. It's insane, and doesn't like try to get people together to go get Barrick. Barrick almost died to spiders to save you, bro, and you just let that. I know he realizes he's outmatched, but like he's not trying to bandy people to help him at all.
Yeah,
so I'm bothered by that. And then what happens is I just realized the axe chopping guy is cutting into an Entwife, and that's why the Ents are like, fuck you. And that's what ends up happening. Those guys.
I don't think he's cutting into an Entwife specifically. I think he's just cutting into a tree.
And they're pissed. And then
they're just mad.
Yeah.
In the same way, like in, Fangorn Forest, the minute Gimli even raises his axe, they start like,
yeah, true. So that's what happens. But
yeah. And I do love that. I love the tease of that. But just like, I don't know what Theo's plan was. And he could be Breaking Bad here. He could be like, maybe, I've got this mark. Maybe I can be a part of the wrong side. So? I don't know, man. I think I've never lost a parent, so I can't comment on how it feels.
I think he's lost. I think he's got a death wish. Like he reminds me of like a Cutter a little bit.
I think he could be lost, but when someone's lost, the minute someone reaches their hand out, they're gonna take that direction. So I think if he runs into Adar or even Anatar or whoever, or, a very cunning Southman, like, something's going to happen with Theo.
Well, because I think he likes Isildur.
I don't think he does.
Okay. Well,
like, what makes you think he likes Isildur?
Because he's like, I'll help you go get your horse.
That's being a teen. That's a rebellious teen thing. He's like, I've got the keys to my dad's car. Let's go.
Yeah, well, he wants to hang out with the Isildur, see if he can hang.
Well, like he's being like a little shit about it. He's like, well, if Numenor's so great, why'd you leave? It's like, okay,
that's
dude.
So true. Yeah, I don't know. He's a lost little babe who needs someone to love him. And you're right.
Yeah, he's being a little stinker, but little stinkers can turn into, neo-Nazis.
We see him shaving his head with a seashell next episode.
That's how we're going to find out he's got elf ears, man.
Damn. I still think you're way wrong about that. And they put it to the ground like, you're not my dad.
I think it's possible now that we don't have Bronwyn in the story anymore, but I think that's where we were going before the actors left.
Maybe. I don't have an instinct as to what's going to happen, but I think you're probably on the more right trail that Theo is going to be yet again tempted to find some semblance of home, and it could be in the wrong direction. Although if he sees the power of the Entwives here, he may go, holy shit. Like he might kind of like whip into shape based off of what happened, because they saved their damn lives. Anything else to talk about this episode?
No, a solid, like, I think I predicted that, like, the Battle of Eregion was going to be, the big cliffhanger.
Did. Yeah.
And I was very, very wrong about that. But I'm okay with the pace of this show right now. I'm really enjoying, like, it's actually character building. I feel like that was a big excuse of, like, last season. Like, oh, we got to know the characters. We kind of did, but we still could have used a little more action, in my opinion, in season 1. And, I said, like, oh, we could have used, like, a bar fight here or there. Like, yeah, there were things that, like, I had criticisms about, and there's going to be things we have criticisms about in this show. That's the point of it. Like, we're not just going to unabashedly just slurp everything that comes our way. But I really enjoyed the first 3 episodes. I thought it was a great 3-episode premiere. I'm on board with everything going on. Obviously, there's more interesting storylines than others, but I think even from last season, there's no storyline that I'm just like, get it off screen. Like, I don't want it. And I think every storyline is doing their damnedest to be interesting, and I'm very curious how they're all going to come together.
So the other thing I was thinking about, a lot of people have some similar criticisms. It's like make the Numenor thing make sense. Make the Stranger thing tie in. I'm still not seeing how these things tie in. And you put up, you're saying it so right. And you said in a couple last episodes, we are going to watch these people take hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. And Sauron wins a lot. And I think that's why we had the Stranger. And yes, Gandalf and the wizards weren't known to be in Middle Earth during the Second Age, but Manwë and the Valar know some shit's going down, and they sent this motherfucker to come and help. That is because, like, I was thinking, like what Durin was saying. Who are we to say we should change the fate of things? They sent the Stranger because they know what's happening. So right now we're watching the long crawl for him to get them out from under the influence of Sauron. And he probably dies, and he probably gets sent back, and comes Gandalf the Grey later on, so I'm just saying, like, I think that I'm putting like my big 5-season arc over this, going, the reason we have this guy is because the Valar is like, you're going to need some serious help from us. And this is us getting in the middle of it.
Yeah, like I like the Kieran Hines appearance, like what he's got to do with this. And
who is that? You mean the dark wizard?
Yeah, the dark wizard.
What the hell? Why didn't the eagle say anything? The eagles can talk.
I think that would have jumped the shark a little bit for everybody that hasn't read the books. Because the eagles have never talked.
They didn't talk.
Like they didn't talk in The Hobbit.
Okay.
All right. So I'm with you. I was waiting for him to start talking because I would have fucking loved it.
Like, because it was so cool when it swooped in, dude. It was like a fucking breathtaking moment.
But honestly, it's just like, if he would have been able to talk, he would have been like, "Bitch, what the fuck? Get the fuck away from me, Pharazôn."
Why is your fucking sword out, bro? Why are you being red, bro?
Right.
Anyway, we enjoy doing this with you guys so much. Thank you for lending us your ears, eyes, headphones, screens. And we really do like being the two people on the internet that aren't trying to bash this show. We are not trying to hate monger in order to get the clicks. We're not doing clickbaity titles so that you do they like it or not? Or are they trolls, or are they, we really just want to we want to talk about this in a way we love it, and not pull the punches if they miss the mark. So if you like what we did, we really do need your help to get the message out there so that we are louder voices than the trolls and the haters. Share, click like, hit subscribe, let your friends know about this, join our Discord, join our Patreon for free, or support us at the $5 tier level where you can get access to early episodes if we can do it. We're also doing a Game of Thrones podcast over there called Podcast of the Thrones. We have 2 seasons of our House of Dragons podcast over there. So there's just a couple. If you really do value what we're doing, there's so many different ways you can show us, from free to a little bit of paid. So please help us out.
Thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. And we are going to be doing, speaking of Discord, if you guys want to join there, for the $5 and up tier on Patreon, we're going to be doing Discord discussions about every single episode starting this Tuesday. Today is Sunday, the September 1st. So Tuesday, September 3rd. Will be our first Discord discussion, guys. We'll be on there for probably like 30 or so minutes. Maybe this first one will be a bit longer because we're discussing 3 episodes. But we'll just keep in the Discord because we're going to be, like, I bartend, so sometimes my schedule changes. But we're going to be doing Discord discussion every week about every single episode, y'all. We are in prime time. Everything Jessica said about, like, clickbaity, like, hate watching, all that stuff, that's all very true, with an asterisk. Because if Pharazôn's son doesn't get punched in the face, we will be turning into that podcast.
We're
immediately.
On Pharazôn punch face.
I am on Pharazôn. Like, the clock is ticking. Okay, Amazon? Like, I'll forgive you for, poor wages and bad factories and Jeff Bezos super yacht.
That. It's like Community. We're so like, you'll forgive racism. You can't say that.
But I need this man to get punched in the face. I need him to get punched in the face.
You got cast to get punched in the face, man.
Like, they literally, I need them looking through headshots like, it's like a 7 out of 10. This guy's got a 10 out of 10. And this is nothing against the actor. He's doing a great job of being a punchable face.
That is they cast Ben Affleck, literally quoted as saying, because you want to punch him. That's why they cast him. And also, the thing that we didn't bring up, when Valandil's like, I'll fucking go right now. Isildur saved his life, bro. Like, and you're turning, like, so, yeah, no, let's punch this guy. He deserves
Punch him! Punch him! But yes, I'm really enjoying the first 3 episodes. I'm so excited for what's to come in this season. Like, we haven't even got any action yet, let alone, like, the big battles we're gonna get. I'm so invested in these. Yeah. I'm ready for Arondir to take on Dimrod, the stone giant killer, which is a wild name. If we, like, I don't know if they're the same stone giants from The Hobbit.
No.
But, like, that's a wild name.
Because they're alive in The Hobbit. It could be the same breed. It could be the ancestors. Yeah, Dimrod, the stone giant killer. What would your epitaph be? I can't say that word. Ben the Bro.
I don't know.
Ben the Bro Goddard.
Yeah, Ben the Bro. That sounds great. Jess is gonna go ask Chat GPT for my nickname.
Shut up. Hey, it's a great tool. Anyway, we really love doing this with you guys. Go to patreon.com/podcast in the rings to see all the cool things we do there. If you're listening to us on a podcast, leave a 5-star review. Tell us how come I give you the ick, or if I give you the sick, or join our Discord for free. You can do that. All that information's in the liner notes of this show. And until next time, Ben,
may our paths meet again. Give him the sick.